From Hollywood's crush, Zac Efron, appearing as a snobby teenager, to Michelle Obama bringing NCIS to the White House, here are some celebrity guests who appeared on NCIS that you totally forgot about. Did you know that way before Efron became a huge superstar, he actually had a tiny role in Season 3 of NCIS? Yeah, it's true. In an episode called Deception, he played this snobby teenager who gets brought in for questioning about a cell phone that he was using. And guess what? That phone was connected to this major case involving a kidnapped lieutenant commander, nuclear weapons, and a dangerous predator. The NCIS team eavesdrops on Zac's character Daniel as he spills the beans on where he got the phone from. And that little piece of info ends up being the key to cracking the whole case wide open. Pretty cool, huh? Before landing that gig on NCIS, Zac had done a few other small roles on shows like CIS Miami and ER. But NCIS was his last stop before skyrocketing to fame with High School Musical. Even though his role on the show was small, you could already see that special charm and star quality that would eventually make him a household name. The folks behind the show clearly had an eye for talent. But he isn't the only star that we saw on the show. There was also Jim Nash. For those of you living under a rock, he's that awesome guy who had us cracking up as Dean Pelton on Community.
Let me clear my throat! I don't know what that was, I don't.
But did you know that he's not just a hilarious actor? Nope, this dude has some serious skills in screenwriting, directing, and comedy acting. He's even won an Oscar. Anyway, back in the day, Jim made a guest appearance on NCIS. It was in the first season, in this episode called Left for Dead. He played a character named Dr. Joel Sanderson, a doctor treating a patient who had amnesia. Now, this patient had some important info about a potential bomb threat, but couldn't remember a thing. Uh-oh. Honestly, it was pretty cool to see Jim taking on different roles and showing off his versatility. From being the wacky Dean Pelton to a serious doctor in NCIS, the guy can do it all. He's definitely made a name for himself in the entertainment biz. But wait, I can't possibly talk about stars who've gone big since their NCIS days and not mention Millie Bobby Brown. You know, 11 from Stranger Things. Well, she actually made one of her very first on-screen appearances on NCIS. How cool is that? In this episode from Season 12, Millie played a character named Rachel. She was the daughter of a young psychologist who unfortunately got murdered. So, the NCIS team had to dig deep and investigate to find out who could have done such a terrible thing. But it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies for her on the show. Just like in Stranger Things, she had a very dark vibe in NCIS too. I guess you never know what secrets lie within someone, even if they're just a kid. And ever since her NCIS days, she's come a long way, capturing our hearts with her incredible performance as 11 on Stranger Things, and Enola Holmes. The girl has got some serious talent. That said, another adorable girl who was a part of NCIS as a child star is Abigail Breslin, the lead in the Dirty Dancing TV movie. She actually made an appearance on NCIS way back in 2004. Some of you might even know her from My Sister's Keep. And let me tell you, she was just a cute little kid back then. Her cuteness had already landed her a gig in Signs, but this was even before she blew everyone away with her amazing performance in Little Miss Sunshine. In the Season 2 premiere of NCIS, Abigail played a young blind pianist who got kidnapped and went through some really tough times with her captor. And it turned out that the person who kidnapped her was actually someone close to her. Can you believe it? It was a real shocker. Even back then, you could see the spark of stardom in Abigail. The girl clearly had talent, and it was just the beginning of her journey to becoming a big star. Her stint on NCIS is something fans definitely haven't forgotten. Though another star showing up on the show that I can never forget is Sterling K. Brown. Yep, our adorable Randall was part of NCIS long before he joined the This Is Us universe. And he was definitely not adorable as a guest star. He actually played a killer clown on a really memorable episode in Season 11. Yeah, I know, it's a total departure from his usual wholesome character on This Is Us. In this episode, Brown portrays a wicked villain who kidnaps Diane Sterling. But that's where things get interesting. Diane happens to be the ex-wife of not just one, but two important characters: NCIS Special Agent Leroy Jethro Gibbs and FBI Special Agent Tobias Fornell. Oh, and Fornell's daughter, Emily, gets caught up in this whole mess too. Yikes. So you can imagine how chaotic that episode must have been. And Sterling absolutely delivered. Back then, it was already a big deal to have someone like Brown as a guest star on the show. But get this episode aired a whopping 3 years before he hit it big in The People vs. O.J. Simpson. This show wasn't a starting point for everyone, though. Some stars decided to become a part of the NCIS universe after getting all the fame. Take John Cryer, for instance. You probably know him best as the star of that Chuck Lorre sitcom, 2.5 Men. But this guy's got an impressive acting resume. He's been in over 70 films and TV shows since he started acting in the 80s. So after 2.5 Men wrapped up, Cryer scored a super cool gig on NCIS as Dr. Cyril Taft. He appeared in 3 episodes in 2015 and 2016, and his character brought some much-needed comedic relief to the show. Cryer even shared his excitement about being on NCIS before the season 13 premiere, saying that he's been a fan of the show since the very beginning, even when nobody believed it would become a hit. And get this, in the show, his character actually saves Mark Harmon's life by performing heart surgery. Now that is some intense stuff. And now, time for a personal fave. Did you know our Suits star and Pretty Little Liars gal also had guest appearances on the show? Yep, I'm talking about Troian Bellisario and Patrick J. Adams. So, Troian became a big-time star when she landed the role of Spencer Hastings on Pretty Little Liars. But before her breakthrough, she made a few guest appearances on a bunch of different TV shows. One of them was on NCIS, where she played Sarah McGee for 2 episodes in 2005 and 2006. And that's not all. Did you know her father, Donald Bellisario, is actually one of the co-creators of the show? Plus, here's another interesting tidbit. One of the cast members, Sean Murray, who plays Timothy McGee, is Troian's stepbrother. Small world, huh? Now let's talk about Troian's husband, Patrick, who's known for his role as Mike Ross in Suits. He also had a guest appearance on NCIS back in 2008. But here's the funny part. Troian and Patrick actually met the following year when they both starred in a play together. They became close friends on set, and it wasn't until 2010 that they finally became a couple. How adorable is that? But wait, the one celebrity guest appearance that left everyone stunned was Michelle Obama. I know this is surprising to many of you, but it shouldn't be, because the former First Lady has made appearances on many shows, such as Parks and Recreation and Blackish. Yeah, she's not afraid to show up as herself and brings a whole lot of media attention with her every time. Back in 2016, while she was still in the role of First Lady, Michelle made a special guest appearance on an episode of NCIS called Homefront. During that episode, she was promoting her charity called Joining Forces, which is all about helping and supporting service members, veterans, and their families. It's such an important cause, and it was amazing that she did it through NCIS. But here's something really cool. The scene where she thanks Gibbs for his work was actually filmed in the White House itself. I mean, how crazy is that? Oh, and NCIS was the first dramatic production to have the honor at the time. So, there you have it. From Michelle Obama bringing NCIS to the White House, to Hollywood's crush Zac Efron making an appearance as a snobby teenager, those were some celebrity guests who appeared on NCIS that you totally forgot about.